And we have takes. Welcome to Football Takes.
Football! Football! Yeah! Football! Football! Yes,
Live on the Football Takes YouTube channel. You guys helped us get up over 4,000 subscribers yesterday. Thor Nystrom, the sports dad Judd Zulgad, our producer Declan Goff, Phil Mackey here. And there are things flying fast and furious. One of the craziest sports nights of the year last night. And for a while, the headline was the Maxx Crosby trade falling through. And then, like, Bam Adebayo scored 83 points. And Mark DeRosa forgot the tiebreaker rules in the World Baseball Classic. But, boys, last week, it was a fan favorite. Thor down territory. We're going to throw up multiple topics. We're going to go tempo. And we're going to give our takes on each of these topics. Are you guys ready? Just hours away from the start of the NFL league year.
Ready to go.
Yeah, let's get it. What a week.
LFG. So let's start with the Maxx Crosby fiasco. The TLDR version of it is the Ravens appeared to get nervous about Maxx Crosby's knee, his meniscus, which it's like everyone knows he's surgery. It's going to take him a minute to recover from that thing. And also the fact that the NFL, with this weird window of 2.5 days, opens up a lot of ambiguity and a weird gap between when you agree to contracts or trades and when they can be consummated, which is 3 p.m. Central Time today. And so in that gap, the Ravens bailed. They signed Trey Hendrickson this morning instead, and they keep their 2 first-round draft picks. So that's the TLDR version of it. But we'll start with Thor. Your thoughts on the entire Maxx Crosby fiasco these past 15 hours?
What a wild night on sports Twitter. That's one of the wildest things that I've ever seen. And right after that, that sort of thing happened, you guys know that account, the Ricky Scoops with the dog. That account had been deactivated, and it comes back live right after that to say that now that they were going to sign Trey Hendrickson. And then that happens the following morning. And then Ricky deactivates his account shortly after putting that out. And it's, anyway, stuff's crazy. But the optics of the Ravens so quickly going to Hendrickson, it really begs the question of, did they back out of that trade because the asking price on Trey Hendrickson dropped? So you're able to get Trey Hendrickson for less than $30 million AAV. Recall, him and his representatives were asking for more than $35 million AAV on a long-term contract to start the free agency process. But for whatever reason, his market couldn't get going. He drops beneath $30 million. In that window, Phil, that you're talking about between when the trade was agreed to and then today at 4 p.m. Eastern when it actually could have been submitted, the reason the Ravens are giving is that he didn't pass his physical, but there was nothing on the physical that they didn't know a month plus ago, right? We all knew that he had the knee surgery. He was on crutches up until recently. None of this was a secret. So it kind of stinks as something where it doesn't seem like it's medical, like Baltimore is saying. It seems more like the possibility that they could walk through door B was more attractive to them, so they pulled out of the trade, and the NFL is furious.
That's what I was going to say. This is going to be what's going to happen here. I told Thor on PD, I told Phil and Dex, this reminds me of what happened to the Vikings in 2006 at the league meetings, which of course are in March. They're coming up. When the Vikings gave the poison pill contract to Steve Hutchinson,
yes.
7-year, $49 million transition tag contract. So what that means is the transition tag meant that Seattle was trying to squat on Steve's rights, but he could go out and negotiate elsewhere. And then the Seahawks could say, oh, that's cool, we'll match it. Well, the poison pill was if you play X amount of games in Washington, in the state of Washington, in the next year, 7 years, $49 million becomes fully guaranteed. Unheard of in the National Football League at the time. It's still very, very rare, right? And I think Tagliabue was commissioner at the time, and the NFL at the league meetings went nuts because they're like, this is not how we do business. They, in that case, were very upset because they wanted nothing to do with guaranteed contracts. But I know for a fact the Vikings got a major slap on the wrist. This seems to me like the Ravens found a loophole. It's viable. But back to your point, the league is going to be absolutely livid about this because it does set a precedent of we're going to use this time period to give him a physical. We knew it. We knew he probably wouldn't pass it. He didn't, but now we can get Hendrickson instead. This smells like a dirty rat.
So, but who's the dirty rat more though? Like, I understand the Ravens are going to have teams looking at them sideways anytime they're involved in a trade discussion now. So they've kind of made their own bed in terms of credibility with the rest of their league mates. But isn't the NFL's structuring of the offseason more the villain here than the Ravens? I mean, this is I told you this on Purple Daily. I'm shocked that this type of thing with trades and free agents doesn't happen more often. You are literally at the mercy. People in these executive roles that are operating year by year to keep their high-profile NFL GM and coaching jobs, and you're expecting them to operate with essentially full moral compass pointed to the sky, right? But if you're the Ravens, and so you need an edge rusher because your defense was a sieve last season, and that's not Ravens football. And at the outset of this ambiguous window, you agree to a deal that can't be consummated until a further date, but you agree to the deal because that's your window to do it. The Raiders could tell you that if you don't agree to this right now, it's not going to be available in 4 days from now. Okay, let's do the trade. And then the market changes, so you can agree to sell the house, but the house can't actually be sold until the closing date, right? So I put the NFL on blast just as much as the Ravens here for this weird, ambiguous window where you agree to things that can't be finalized for days or weeks after the fact.
They're going to have to make some changes for sure. And I totally agree with you. You know, we were making the joke in advance of this week about how they call this the opening of legal tampering, but by the time you get there, all the tampering's done. But then you have that big sort of lapse between, I mean, teams are talking the postseason all-star events that begin during the playoffs, right? The Shrine Game, the Senior Bowl, the ones before that. You know, hula and all that different stuff. Like, all the NFL teams are there. You think they're all in bubbles, not talking to each other? It was a couple years ago. What was it? This at the Senior Bowl on the sideline. So this was late January when the Carolina Panthers, Dan Morgan, when he was standing next to Joe Shane, and he's like, hey, you know, Brian Burns, you know, you guys. You know, and it was like a first round pick, and it's like, oh, maybe I wouldn't do that. But they began the Brian Burns, you know, negotiations then. So like, and you see this all the time with the, you know, engaging with free agents. But yeah, that amount of time lapse in between, there has to be something done about that. And Phil, I'm with you on. It's something that surprises me, too, that these things that are agreed to in principle, be it trade, be it free agent contract, when that leaks out, and then whether it's another party that's like, I can do better than that, or if it's like this one where one of the teams involved in the transaction's like, something has presented itself to us here over the last 48 hours that actually is a better door for this organization to walk through than the one that we agreed to 4 days ago. So we're just going to take the PR hit and go with it.
Mm-hmm. And it looked bad when it was just, hey, we're backing out of the Crosby trade, and then we get that, you know, that release from the Raiders that looked like a third grader came into their PR department and like
so terse, wasn't it, Judd?
And yeah, it's just one paragraph. At first, I thought it was a fake, like it literally looked like something. And then fans have subsequently put all of these bad trades that were made. You know, Deshaun Watson trade off. He's going back to the Texans. But
I said that Carolina pulled out of the Adam Thielen trade, and we'll have no further comment
at this time. But the thing here too is, I think what the league really objects to is the league knows that its rules are broken and flaunted, right? But I think what they don't like is complete embarrassments. And like the poison pill was a complete embarrassment. This was already sort of hanky, and then the next morning for Hendrickson to sign, and it's like, oh, okay, we all see what you did. I think what the problem here is they don't like to be embarrassed. They don't care if their rules get broken, but they don't like complete embarrassments because this looks like a gong show. So I'll be very curious to see what they do. And yes, Phil, you're probably right. This is on the league, but the league doesn't take a lot of responsibility. I think the league is going to dump on Baltimore for this. Like, I really do. Fair or not, I think that they're going to. And it's funny too. The Raiders are caught up in this, And it's just such a Raiders thing. Like, we went out and signed all these guys, and they all still fit within the cap. But it's like the Raiders are like, we're turning a page, and we got 2 first-round picks. And in a very Raider-like fashion, it's like, actually, you don't. And the guy now is back in your weight room today. Have fun with that.
Judd, what you're saying, it reminds me of several years ago, there was a very aggressive firing in college football of a head coach where it was like surprising, but it was like very aggressive. And I talked to a college football staffer around that time of like trying to get my footing with why that decision had been made. And that person said, like, you can do a lot of stuff as a college coach. You can lose games, you can make mistakes, etc. He's like, there's only really one sin in this game. You cannot embarrass the boosters. When you embarrass the boosters, you will be packing up your office real quick after that. You're all of a sudden you're on a shot clock and you now have an expiration date. Yeah. Same thing in this case. If it doesn't embarrass the league, they're not going to change the rules, right? When it embarrasses the league and everyone's got egg on their face and it's hard to explain, that's when you typically see rules change. So I expect to see one here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last thought on this, and then we'll get to some quarterback-related news here is, in a vacuum, if the Ravens were presented on the same timeline, you have 2 options. You want to make your defensive front better, pass rush, etc., and you want to make your team better. You could either trade 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby, who's coming off of meniscus surgery, or you could use your cap space to sign Trey Hendrickson, who I don't think he is a game-wrecking pass rusher, but I don't think he's quite on the level of Maxx Crosby consistently when both are healthy. But you could use money to sign Hendrickson and keep those 2 first-round picks. It's a no-brainer. Like, you do the Hendrickson, keep the 2 first-round picks thing, but the timing of it and the way that it played out obviously makes them look bad here. Okay, we know there's a lot of Vikings fans hanging out with us right now, live on the Football Takes YouTube channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button here. We just launched this about 2 months ago. It's going to be home to, we got our Vikings podcast here on Score North, Purple Daily, Thor Talks Purple. Football Takes is a place for us to go beyond the Vikings, NFL, college football, the draft. It's home to Thor's draft content on a regular basis going forward as well. But we know there's a lot of Vikings fans hanging out with us, and you might be interested to know that Ian Rappaport made it official, at least from what he's hearing. Kyler Murray will be released by the Arizona Cardinals when the new league year hits at 3 p.m. Central Time in 3.5 hours here. So this is going to be something that gets resolved fairly quickly, either today or in the next few days. But now that it's been reported kind of officially, Kyler Murray will be released in a few hours. What do you guys make of that?
They could have done it a couple days ago, like the Dolphins did with Tua, but I digress with that. On the Murrays, so that's the Cardinal side. I'm sure they're just being petty. But with regards to Murray, now that he's going to get his walking papers at that time, there had been those indications from his camp that had been reported of, we're going to go out and talk with, he's going to meet with a bunch of teams and the decision might not come immediately. So that's kind of interesting with it. I think people have been waiting around, especially in our neck of the woods. They want a resolution to the quarterback thing, be it Kyler, be it Kirk. Geno comes off the board yesterday. There was reporting right after that the Vikings were interested. I thought it was interesting that the Jets felt that they needed a team that has absolutely no chance to win next year. They're not even trying to win. That they felt that they had to do a pick swap to guarantee that they got Geno. It's sort of interesting with the dynamics here. But, yeah, finally here at 4 p.m. Eastern this afternoon on Wednesday with the opening of the league year, those teams can start releasing their contracts. So Kyler, Kirk, the rest of it, we're going to see the dominoes start to fall now.
By the way, new rule here, whenever anyone says NFL league year, we have to hit the chimes.
Yeah, I can feel like Steve Zabel.
We are 3 hours and 15 minutes away from the NFL new league years.
Yeah.
When the ball should really drop. This January 1st stuff, it's fine. I mean, that whatever. You work by your calendar, I'll work by mine.
Yeah.
Wait, what time is the league year? 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock our time.
So what'd you say? 3 hours? 3 hours? It's
3 hours.
3 hours?
I said 3:15. It's
3.5, right?
It's 3:30. Yes, my clock on my computer is a little bit fast. I forgot that. It's 11:29 Central right now. 3.5 hours.
What time is? What's the clock on your laptop?
It says 11:41.
Oh.
Oh wow, you're
Really?
12 minutes
Yeah,
into
and
the
I
future
can't
on your
change it.
laptop.
Because it's a company computer, I'm frozen out from changing my clock unless I take it into tech, and there is no way I'm going into the building just to do that. So I just accept it and
that's kind of
occasionally screw up
annoying.
the time. Occasionally, you know what it is? It's bar time. Story of my life. I'm always on bar time. I hate you people for that.
The lights come on.
I hate you people for that. But
So,
anyway,
at some point in the next few hours, either on Judd time, bar time, or real time, the NFL new league year will be upon us.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's talk about the Kyler thing. The reporting that's come down. I found it interesting. Tom Pelissero reported yesterday that Kyler was going to take his time, look around. That because he was the first pick by the Cardinals in his draft, he didn't get a chance to do that. Didn't get a chance to really, it sounds like, meet face to face with teams or talk to them. That he was going to take that opportunity. Ian Rappaport then came back and said, I believe it was Tom's colleague Rappaport said, "Oh no. Kyler Murray is going to sign with the Vikings very quickly." So one, I'm curious on that. Two, the aforementioned Ricky Scoops threw out there that Kyler was leaning towards the Vikings, but his decision was actually between the Vikings and Steelers, and that at least the Steelers were in play for Kyler. So I am curious to see how this unfolds now. And there's a couple of things here too. One, on Geno. So that trade and the Raiders are still going to pay most of that salary. So it's not like the Jets took on the contract. But yes, the Jets felt the need that if they wanted him, they would make a trade, swap a pick, and basically his compensation for, hey, we get our guy or a guy that we have targeted, we'll give you a draft pick. That's what the Cardinals, I think, were hoping for. The Cardinals were hoping to trade Kyler, not his contract, but they were hoping that the Vikings would call and say, oh my God, Pittsburgh's involved. We do not want Pittsburgh involved. You trade us Kyler. We'll give you a sixth round pick. You'll still pay him. That's obvious. But we then get our guy. Well, the Vikings, it sounds like, aren't doing that. So it will be interesting to see if Kyler does at least talk to the few teams left. And just as a curveball here, the other thing I'm curious about is, did the Daniel Jones extension away from the transition tag, did that get done? Because the Colts are like, we want to pay our man totally? Or were the Colts like getting a little bit of cold feet? And believe me, I would have allowed him to explore his options. But the Colts were getting cold feet because there were rumors linking Daniel Jones to a few teams like the Vikings.
Hey, before Thor jumps in here, just for the audience, because that Daniel Jones deal just came through like in the last hour. It's 2 years. He's back with the Colts. 2 years, $88 million base value with $50 million guaranteed at signing and $60 million guaranteed for injury. And it's up to a max value of $100 million. So it's, it's no matter what, it's like a 2-year, $50 million fully guaranteed contract for Daniel Jones, who tore his Achilles in December, Thor.
I didn't want to interrupt, but Judd, to clarify, Ian Rappaport didn't say that Kyler Murray was going to sign with the Vikings right away. He said that they were going to meet with the Vikings right away, correct?
Yeah,
just to clarify that part of it.
With a signing to potentially come quickly was kind of afterward. Yeah,
was sort of the implication.
Yeah. Where Tom
okay.
was,
so
where Tom was saying, where Tom's point was, he might actually take some time because he's got time.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't like my thing on this is it kind of lumps the Colts in with the Vikings and every other team. Kyler Murray at $1.3 million. Hell yeah, let's party. Like any team that has a quarterback need would look at that and say that's insane value. Daniel Jones coming off a torn Achilles after like 8 pretty good games, but it's 8 games, and they also had a badass run game and some other good things going on there too. At 2 years, $88 million. It's just kind of wild to me where some of these quarterback contracts are at, and I don't get what the Colts. I get what the Colts are doing in terms of we like him, we won a bunch of games, we want to pick up where we left off. But that's not really the NFL. Isn't a pick up where we left off league as much as people want it to be. So the only thing that I would say here, Thor, is there like a curveball coming? Is it as simple as the Vikings are going to meet with Kyler and then within, I don't know, 12 or 24 hours, they're going to consummate a deal? It's been awfully quiet on the Kirk Cousins front, awfully quiet on the Aaron Rodgers front for Pittsburgh, for other teams. So, and the fact that to what Judd threw out, the Vikings were in on Geno Smith. according to multiple reports. And the Jets figured, well, if Geno hits the market and he can sign with any team he wants for 1.3, he's not choosing us. So we have to trade for him and essentially force him to come back home against his will. Did the Vikings have interest in Geno Smith at 1.3 million more than they have interest in Kyler at 1.3 million? We may never know for sure, but these are some interesting tentacles off of this quarterback discussion.
Makes you wonder, right? What scared the Jets where they felt like they had to get, and it's a small amount of draft equity, but if the next day you could sign him for free, unless they felt that wasn't going to be available to them. So I did find that kind of notable. And then I guess the discrepancy in the reporting of whether, the Kyler camp going to take a while or, it's just going to the Vikings. Like, that's sort of an interesting gap between those two things, too. And then I love that you brought up the Ricky thing, because the other thing that, in the 10 minutes when he was on there, it's like Rashawn Gary's hacker, 10 minutes. The other thing that he put out there was that Kyler Murray was also, considering the Steelers as well, which I thought was interesting, because these past couple of days, it's just been all Kyler talk, all Vikings, all the time. So to see a different thing like that, even, from a barking dog on Twitter was kind of interesting. So, a lot of things up in the air right now, but I don't know. There's a lot of people around here that don't know right now. There's players on the team that don't know what they're going to do right now. We know that they're going to do something, with those top couple quarterbacks. But in the inner sanctums of the Vikings building, I imagine they know what they're going to do, but the rest of us are going to have to find out.
Yeah, the other ripple effect, by the way, off the Daniel Jones contract, it kind of came down after the Trey Hendrickson stuff came down this morning, and Rappaport adds, because all these moves tend to be kind of connected in some way, and there's a butterfly effect of this Maxx Crosby trade falling through. Ian Rappaport said prior to the falling out of the trade, the Colts were in pole position for Trey Hendrickson until Baltimore jumped in and stole him. So if the Colts were to have signed Trey Hendrickson to like a 4-year, $100+ million deal, do they not do the 2-year, $88 million, or do they just do both of them? And now they got Trey Hendrickson coming off an injury and also Daniel Jones. What's the butterfly effect there? Would they have gone Trey Hendrickson and then maybe into Kyler Murray, who's been linked to the Colts up until the last 24 hours? Again, we may never know, but the trickle-down effect from the Maxx Crosby trade appears to have affected the Colts peripherally here.
If you do, here's my guess. If they had done the Hendrickson contract, is the rush on Jones as immediate as it became? So, in other words, if you do Hendrickson, doesn't mean you don't want to keep Jones. Clearly they did. I'm sort of confused about their love of a guy who robbed the Giants blind in the same type of circumstance. But anyway, clearly they wanted to keep him. I get that. But two things off that. I wonder if Hendrickson signs a big deal with the Colts, do they do the Jones deal this quickly? And the other thing is, if the Colts truly didn't feel that there was any threat for Jones, do they do the deal this quickly? So, clearly there are other teams sniffing around as well. And again, the Daniel Jones thing, it's the biggest, quarterback, we got to get one, and he had a couple good games thing. But yeah, and look, the fallout from the Crosby non-trade now is going to have an effect on a few teams, not just one, which again is why I think that the league's embarrassed. It just looks like no one knows what they're doing. And in fact, the Ravens clearly did, and it looks like we're devious. But Daniel Jones, I would not have given him that contract. No.
We mocked the Giants for years for giving him a multi-year contract that averaged $40 million AAV, a contract that was so bad they released him in the middle of the season. And that wasn't a decade ago. It's less than 2 years ago. I'm old enough to remember it.
And it was against the Vikings.
Was it November 2024? This was not so long ago. And now you're coming off this Achilles injury, right? It's not like Daniel Jones, 100%. We're going to get him out there for 34 games the next couple of years. The odds would say he's not going to be your week 1 starter. And if he is, he's not going to be good. That is a full 1-year recovery thing. So once you get into November, most of your season's already done, right? Like, and if the Colts miss the playoffs this year, then it's just one more year on that thing. You gave him $44 million AAV?
Yeah.
This is one of those contracts that's going to get people fired. In conjunction with the rest of the stuff going on there, the ridiculous trade of 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
That contract for Alec Pierce, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Where he's like in the neighborhood of guaranteed money, where he can actually see Justin Jefferson from his vantage point now. Alec Pierce, a one-trick pony downfield guy. I have no idea what they're doing, but yeah, I think the administration there, you probably have about as much time as that Daniel Jones contract, if not less.
It's kind of funny too, because the last time Daniel Jones fleeced a franchise, it was the Giants contract was for like $80 million guaranteed or something. It was a 4-year deal, $40 million a year, back like 4 years ago. But in that instance, he had a decent pop-up 2022 season in which they went to the playoffs. They won that playoff game against the Vikings. But that
was Ed Donatel. They won it against Ed Donatel.
Yeah, I mean, Ed Donatel, the 2 games Daniel Jones had against the Vikings defense might have been the things that put it over the top for that contract.
Definitely.
But the Giants' offense was off the back of Saquon Barkley and the run game.
Yep.
So
short passes to him, right? I mean, it was a lot of the quick, and then they would manufacture.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally Saquon Barkley that season wound up with 352 touches and over 1,600 yards from scrimmage. And the Giants decided, bang, bang, in kind of back-to-back years, Daniel Jones is the one that's like, he was the driving force. Now we're going to give him a big contract. And then Saquon Barkley becomes expendable a couple years later. And you could argue, kind of, not to sit here and dump on Daniel Jones, but like at that money, it doesn't make sense. And the same thing happened last year, where that Colts offense was the heartbeat of it was Jonathan Taylor and the run game. And nice job, Daniel Jones. It's the best he's ever played in his career. But it's just kind of interesting that a team made a similar mistake to the last team that paid Daniel Jones. Maybe he'll prove us all wrong and people can clip this and send it to Old Takes Exposed. But I don't know.
Here's where I don't think we're wrong. He tore his Achilles. Like if he was just Daniel Jones, I think we could question it. But I mean, Darnold's contract with the Seahawks got questioned. But you are talking about a guy, and like this week 1, he'll be set to play in week 1. First of all, I think that's nonsense. But let's say it's not nonsense. We saw how long it took Kirk. I mean, we're talking about planting your feet. Last time I checked, quarterbacks need to plant their feet. And when your Achilles, which is crucial to holding your body up, when your Achilles just burst and now you're trying to come back, I don't understand it based on that. Like, I thought that Jones, in a real world, I thought he would get a 1-year contract. Again, hey, okay, really unfortunate for your career, but you're going to have to make good here. And if you play well, now you're going to get the contract.
Yeah.
So this is where I question some of these teams, which is I mean, this is a Grigson-like move. This is a Ryan Grigson-like move.
And our buddy Greg Rosenthal from NFL Network and NFL Media, friend of the show, friend of Purple Daily, he tweeted out earlier here, I can't be the only one a little anxious about running back the Colts again, except no Michael Pittman and Daniel Jones had a torn Achilles. We're just going to run it all back and see what happens.
Exactly.
So,
well said.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep rocking here, boys, and we'll keep an eye on any other things that come out newsworthy. But I do want to shout out a couple things here for the assembled audience. If you are in the Twin Cities area, tomorrow night at Black Stack in St. Paul is our next Purple Daily Unplugged event. We're looking forward to gathering with you guys, cheersing some Black Stack beverages, and hanging out from 5 to 7 o'clock, doing a live podcast. It's free and open to the public. Come hang out with us, 5 to 7, Black Stack in St. Paul tomorrow, and we'll be recapping whatever the Vikings do here. And then maybe there's a Grenard trade by then. We'll see about Kyler, but we'll be talking free agency and trades. The first 120 people to arrive get a free Purple Daily Black Stack pint glass. Must be 21 or older. purpledaily.com/unplugged to just either get or screenshot information. And then the other thing we're announcing today, the 2026 Purple Daily Draft Party presented by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, which is going to be Thursday night, April 23rd at Mystic Lakes Hop House. Tickets available Monday, March 23rd. So mark your calendars. especially for those of you. We had people coming in from 29 different states last year, which is incredible. So if you're coming in from out of town, you can book a hotel reservation at Mystic Lake. There's a hotel on site. But tickets available Monday, March 23rd. And we're going to have a VIP level ticket and a general admission level ticket. Can't wait for that night. Thor is going to be in full Thor mode with a Vikings-related big board. We're working on stuff right now. It's going to be one of the most fun nights of the year, as it always is. And you can find out more information at scorenorth.com/draft party. But mark those calendars. Tickets available for the draft party Monday, March 23rd. Also, shout out to Grandpa's Barbecue for supporting the draft party, boys. We're super excited. We're going to put a quarter in Thor, and he's going to educate us throughout the night.
I'll put $1.
Oh, that's good. That's going to be fun. I can't wait for that. So, and the venue is fabulous. So for people that haven't checked that out too, it's going to be a very fun night.
Gentlemen,
Football.
the NFL floated a trial balloon this morning. Adam Schefter was the first one to put this out, at least on my timeline. So in and around all the news that's flying around, the NFL has put this out via Schefter that they are exploring playing a game on Thanksgiving Eve as early as this season. So Wednesday before Thanksgiving, Wednesday, November 25th is the date that they are circling. And they're saying it's not official yet, but as we have 2 months to kind of make up the schedules here, it feels like they're floating out to the public and the media. What would you guys think about Drunksgiving, everyone gathering around and watching? I don't know if they'd put like the Titans and the Jets on, or if they'd go for a more premier game. But what do you guys think of the NFL expanding into Wednesday before Thanksgiving?
Do I have this right then? So that week would be Wednesday night football, Thursday triple header, because that's not going to change. Black Friday game in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Saturday off because I think they can't go up against college.
Saturday off for the league.
But
as others are pointing out, Maction would have already been happening on the Tuesday before the Wednesday, and then the Saturday slate of college rivalry games.
Don't you love? So I think one of the things that's most intriguing now about how the league does this is they operate very, very quietly and then quickly. So like this is happening, right? Like this is not we're just considering it. Usually we're considering it means we're doing it. And don't forget too, here's where I think the rub comes in from a business perspective, gentlemen. So the league I guess there is an out clause in their television contracts. And they are going to go back right now, like 2 years before the fact, and try to redo and get new deals. And I'm sure they thought, you know what we've done with every television contract of late? We have created new windows, right? Like Netflix, I guarantee you this was, okay, how can we get another $1 billion from somebody? This Wednesday night game, here's my call right now. Write this down. This will be a streaming game.
Okay, yeah.
Wednesday night will be a streaming game. Because the streamers have the money.
Yeah.
Is this?
This could be YouTube.
I was going to say, this seems like the YouTube one then, right?
Oh, I love it, Dex.
Yeah, probably YouTube.
So the week would be the official pregame then, right? It's either Football Takes or Purple Daily.
We'll be on site from my house.
It's actually a great content idea.
Somebody with the NFL office, I owe them a fruit basket. This subject has been a pet peeve of mine. One of my top pet peeves about football going back years and years and years. On October 6th of last year, I tweeted out the following. Did you know that tomorrow, i.e. October 7th, did you know that tomorrow is the last day without football until the day before Thanksgiving, November 26th? 7 straight weeks of ball, no breaks, what our forefathers envisioned when they founded this country, the best of what we are as a nation, up until the day before Thanksgiving. Every single damn year, for some reason, it's inexplicable. The one time of the year when everyone is home, nobody has anything to do, so much so that we call it Drunksgiving, right? Like, back in Brainerd, we meet up at Poncho and Lefties. Everyone knows a high school reunion every single year.
What's it called? Lefties. Poncho and Lefties?
Poncho and Lefties, yeah.
Thor here for Poncho's and
Poncho, yeah. But anyhow, but you go out, you go to the bar, and then they're playing reruns of, Cheers on there. It's like, why don't we have Maction on? Why don't we have a Conference USA game on? Or why don't we have an NFL game on? So this is perfect from the NFL. I don't understand why every single year this is the one off day, because then it resumes right after that with games every single day. The NFL is righting a wrong. Good for you, NFL.
Although I will say this, that Sunday slate could be very barren.
Yeah,
That's okay though, because
that's okay.
the Sunday daytime slate is more about like local regional games anyways,
Sure.
and Red Zone channel. And Red Zone, even if it's like 5, let's say there's only 5 games in the early window, you can patchwork enough together on Red
I
Zone
want the
channel.
Octobox.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Let's go Octo.
Would you rather have the Octobox or football on Wednesday night before Thanksgiving?
You know
Give me
what?
the football on Wednesday night.
Wednesday Night Football, though, here's my thing. The night before Thanksgiving is a great hockey night. It's a full slate of hockey games. So I often watch that. But I want the
There's
Octo.
hockey on
Wait, can we just have
6
one,
months
Judd?
There's hockey on.
Just let us have one on that day.
Yeah. Well, it just depends what the game is, too. Like, it needs to be a good game. The one thing I object to when they go solo games is when they, and it's why it's improved now, but the original Thursday Night Football, right? I thought, because it was crap. It's like, let's take these 2 crappy teams, and I'm like, put them on Sunday and put them in my Octo box.
Yeah, because it was NFL Network was the first network
Yeah.
to do the Thursday games, and they weren't paying themselves a rights fee, right? They were just trying
I
to
don't know
boost
how
their
it
own
worked.
visibility.
But, I mean, it was the Jaguars.
But when you get Amazon coming in saying, okay,
Right.
we're going to pay like billions of dollars over multiple years for these games, enough Titans, okay? Enough.
Right.
Well, the
Titans,
Jaguars
Jaguars
are a little more exciting now than
But
they
back
were
then,
5 years ago.
it was the Jaguars. It was any team that sucked. Now that's improved.
You'll get Titans and Jets on Sunday Night Football, and you're gonna like it. Okay, it's gonna be that's what's gonna
Oh, on
happen.
Sunday night? No, I won't. Oh, no,
On
no.
Sunday night?
NBC
When's the
don't
last time
deal
the-
with that. NBC don't play that game.
When's the last time the Titans were on Sunday night?
Dun 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 dun
Oh,
dun.
Phil's
dun,
got
dun,
the
dun,
sounder right there. Sunday
Well,
football sounder.
We got you, Thor.
Yeah, here we go.
Collinsworth ain't doing the slide-in for Titans and Jets, Declan.
I don't know what you're
Welcome in.
word year 2. You know, it's gonna be a good year for them. What are we gonna get from Cam? You know, they haven't been on Sunday Night Football in such a long time. You got Zolgat over there, the podcaster, saying, "I don't want to watch these guys." You're gonna get it. You're gonna like it. That's how it works.
Now here's a guy.
It's Declan's is really good.
That's
He
pretty
keeps
good.
it up.
Pretty dialed.
That's
dude.
pretty
It's
good.
pretty.
He keeps
it's
it
pretty
up.
dialed. Okay, can you guess the last time the Titans were on Sunday Night Football? According to champsorus.us, I don't know if this is credible.
Was this a Ryan Tannehill? Was this post Ryan Tannehill?
I think it might have been Tannehill. 2022 against the Kansas
Wow.
City Chiefs, a 5-2
Oh, they got-
Titans
wow.
team against the
They haven't been on
Chiefs.
Sunday Night Football in 4 years.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Which, yeah, I mean,
I understand, but I feel like I feel like a team sometimes just stumbles into there at least once over like a every other year.
I'm surprised it was
stretch.
that recent, Dex.
Wow.
yeah, dude. Sunday, they're very protective over Sunday.
Oh, that was a
Sunday's
Malik
the most
Willis game.
protective slot, right?
I remember that game. That was Malik Willis
Okay.
as a
The
rookie.
The bigger question is because, like, remember when the Broncos traded for Russ, and there was like 10 Broncos games in prime time, and by week 2 we were like, this is
Enough.
going to be ugly.
Oh, and they flexed out of a couple of them, right?
So who is the Broncos for 2026 that are going to get like 7 primetime games that we're just going to be this is going to be painful because you know it might be because it's
The
a bigger
Dolphins?
market. I was going to say the Bears. The Bears could have the hangover. I mean, they're still Chicago, so like the market's big.
They're going to look to put the Bears on a bunch of primetime games. What's the
Yeah.
likelihood that the bottom falls out like the Broncos, though? I feel like the Bears are going to be entertaining and high scoring.
Well, who's the Russell Wilson of like because that was like a big name, and we're all like, I don't know where he is exactly, and then it was just a disaster. Who's signing guys? Who are we saying right now? Look at that team go, and what we're not looking at is the Vikings effect from last year, which is, oh, those guys are a bunch of old.
Well, the
Are we-
Colts.
are-
the
are
Colts,
we in a glass
put
house?
them up.
Yeah, I was going to say it.
Oh, we are in
Are
a
we
glass
in a glass house right
Yeah.
now? It's the Vikings
Oh,
are
we-
going to get 6 primetime games.
They're not
in the
going to
series?
put the Vikings
No,
on 6
no, the
primetime
Vikings-
games.
Okay.
That was last
If,
year.
dude,
where
if they get Kyler, in terms of like national appeal, I could see executives saying, "Ooh, Vikings with Kyler, that's a fun story. Let's throw a little Thursday over here, maybe a little Black Friday game over there."
I could see the Vikings being flexed into games because of Kyler if they get off to a good start. I could see that.
Okay. And then, of course, the rug gets pulled and it's J.J. McCarthy that's slinging it in the second half of the season, dialing it up for old Chris Collinsworth.
And Collinsworth falls in love with him. He starts to, he just glazes him. He glazes McCarthy.
It's, you know what, if that happens, it's going to be Mike Tirico with Collinsworth sliding in, and then sliding in behind Collinsworth, Thor Nystrom.
Yep.
You bump him out.
You called him a bust.
And then I'm trying to do my impersonation of Collinsworth right in front of him.
But instead of a full suit and a tie, it's Thor wearing his faded Michigan J.J. McCarthy jersey.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm ready for it.
Man.
I'm ready for it.
I'm trying to see if there's any other big. We're all kind of in like a holding pattern here until the league year at 3. But there is one other nugget I'll throw out to you guys on this live stream. Kevin Seifert from ESPN retweeted his colleague Josh Weinfuss from ESPN. He is
Arizona,
a writer
right?
for ESPN.com. Yep, Cardinals. Yep. And he tweeted, with Kyler Murray expected to be released by the Cardinals today, a source told me that Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell and Falcons coach Kevin Stefanski each did extensive research into Kyler Murray on their own. Obviously, the Falcons at some point decided that we'd like a left-handed quarterback to run our offseason program for our young left-handed quarterback. But just another interesting piece of information here in the Kyler Murray Vikings puzzle that a Cardinals-based ESPN writer picked up, that Kevin O'Connell has been doing his own research into Kyler. But, I mean, he's probably doing research into any quarterback that has an arm and a pulse.
Yeah. And Kyler actually probably profiles more as a Stefanski QB than an O'Connell QB, right? Based on size. So now he's not
like rollouts and kind
of
using.
Now he's
like
not
wide
going
zone.
there now. 2 is going there, but yeah, that's not surprising. That Kyler, that the Falcons would have at least considered that. I guess that's one of my questions too. Is what's O'Connell? Who's been the shortest quarterback the Vikings have had with KO coaching?
Ooh.
How tall is
Jaron
Mullins?
Hall. Probably Jaron Hall.
That was my first thought too, but I'm going to look it up.
It's like a lot of teams are predisposed not to want to go with a quarterback who's not taller.
Another thing to consider here, though, is, and Judd, we did a whole episode on this on Purple Daily like 2 weeks ago, and this is probably a deeper dive for if they actually get Kyler, and now it's about, all right, what does the offense look like? You know, they brought in Frank Smith from Miami to be essentially an assistant head coach, offensive consultant, to be in the room and to look at the run game too. So I wonder if they're bringing in some Miami principles from their run game for 3 or 4 years. Would they look to overhaul more than we are giving credit to? Because Kevin O'Connell has said on the record, I think from the Combine a couple weeks ago, Frank Smith's coming in here to bring in some outside ideas and take a look at what we can do differently. He said, I want to be more of a wide zone team. I mean, they run wide zone, but they want to be like more into the wide zone game than they have been. So, you know, whether it's Kyler, whether it's J.J. McCarthy playing at some point, maybe there's more of a self-reflective look at the offensive scheme and strategy than the skeptics think, the sports dad skeptics think.
Mm-hmm.
I think I found an answer on the shortest quarterback who has ever played for Kevin O'Connell. Now, this is we go back into his assistant coach time as well. So this isn't just Vikings.
Okay.
But I can pose it as a trivia question if you guys want.
Okay.
Who is the shortest quarterback who? And I'll just say as a hint, it is not with the Vikings.
So the short.
And he is known.
The shortest.
The shortest quarterback that Kevin O'Connell, you know, either as a position coach or a coordinator that was on a roster that Kevin O'Connell was coaching on.
So his position coach stops were Cleveland, Washington. Then he went to the Rams and was coordinator.
How tall
Was
is
it Johnny
Case?
Manziel?
It is Johnny Football.
Oh,
ding,
who he
ding,
wo-
ding,
Go.
ding, 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 ding.
Good.
Who he
Let's
worked
go.
with.
Yep.
Before, when O'Connell was a quarterback consultant. In
Yes.
fact, Manziel, it turned out, stayed at the O'Connell household, at the O'Connell house.
Sure did.
Shortly after, I think, coming out of a stint in rehab, if I'm not mistaken.
Does Kevin have that on his resume? Worked with Johnny Manziel, or did that get bumped off?
Manziel lived in my guest room.
Oh,
Probably
man.
stay away from that one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Old KO. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be now. Of course, people throwing out like tall quarterback stats. Well, sometimes there's not that many dudes under 6 foot that even get a look in the NFL at that position. They either don't make it or they're asked to play a different position. And that's why when you are like 5'8" or 5'9" and you're being interviewed, in front of NFL teams like at the combine, and teams are skeptical about drafting you, and they ask, "Who's your football mentor?" Your answer probably shouldn't be Johnny Manziel, like Diego Pavia a couple weeks ago.
That was the most on-point, honest response ever.
And it completely redlined him from probably 30 NFL teams, if he wasn't already based on size.
I was going to say, he had to get himself taken off every possible team prospect list with his performance at the Heisman Awards, right? These effing people
throwing a tantrum. Yeah.
You effed up.
Idiots.
Should have been me.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. This is football takes. Thor down territory, hitting on a bunch of different topics here. And again, if you're new, thank you guys for hitting that subscribe button on the channel, the like button on this episode. You can also find Football Takes in audio form on its own Spotify and Apple pages. So go find us there as well. And if anything major Vikings news breaks today, we will be live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Whether it's Kyler or a Grenard trade, we are standing by and ready. And also, as of right now, O-Line Committee is set to go live on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel at 3 o'clock. So we'll be spinning plates here. Thor Talks Purple dropping an episode. We have a predictions, write that down, Purple Daily that dropped as well. Thank you for hanging out with us. Happy NFL League year to all who celebrate. And we'll see you next time on Football Takes.